and welcome to The One Show with Matt Baker.
And Alex Jones. Now, tonight we're joined by a Brooklyn-born superstar and a florist's favourite singer-songwriter.
Fresh from his Royal Variety performance last night, let's say hello again to Neil Diamond.
Yay! Welcome back, Neil.
We have a full house.
We do. Well, I went downstairs for a chili con carne earlier on, and it was rammed with ladies.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to take them in from the rain.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know there was cold out there, so happy to have them in. Thank you for taking them in.
It's a lovely, cosy feel now.
It is, and these lovely ladies were telling Matt, while he was carrying his chili con carne across the Royal Variety performance.
I had the most fun. I got a chance to sing to Her Majesty, which was the reason for our trip over here.
What was that like, Neil? Was that?
Well, it was unique and extraordinary. I had a chance to speak to Her Majesty during the intermission before I went on, and we had a nice chat, and she had some nice. She really wanted to talk to my wife about horses, and they did talk and had a nice conversation. And
was she swaying a little bit? Was she doing a little, you know?
I hope so.
Yeah?
I hope so. The rest of the audience was. We were all having a good time during the show, and I did chat with Prince Philip for a little bit. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. I don't think I'll forget it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Prince William, well, he's a fan as well, we understand. Is it right that you were going to change the words of Sweet Caroline to Sweet Catherine?
I hadn't heard that, but
Oh, right. Oh, well, there you go. We thought we'd ask, but...
I'd be happy to.
Well, we just heard you was a big fan, and that, you know, you were on the list of maybes for the wedding, to sing at the wedding.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful to hear.
Now then, we'll be talking to you more, Neil, during the programme, but first of all, it's the disease that has been sweeping the country.
Well, Lucy is here to discuss this a little bit further. Now, Lucy, there are a lot of people in high places banging their heads together about this and trying to make sure that this isn't the end for our forests.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on because, as the Environment Secretary, Owen Paterson, has said, now that ash dieback is in mature trees, there is no way that it can be eradicated from the UK. So we are where we are, and it's about slowing down the disease and managing the impact. So, as you say, a lot of people doing a lot of work. I think probably every sort of forestry professional, every forestry scientist is probably out there monitoring the trees at the moment, and they're using like special portable DNA kits to see just really where it has spread. And really the great hope is in the mature trees, because some will hopefully be naturally resistant. That's what happened in Denmark, where they lost 90% of their ash trees, and they found that there was resistance in a very small minority, but that means that, you know, we will still have ash trees, and it's important to remember that.
Replant that strain and then grow from there. So.
Exactly.
Now, for obvious reasons, we can't have a sample of the disease in the studio, but we can show a picture of what the trees or what the bark looks like.
Yes, so you can see there's a sort of canker, these kind of lesions on the bark, and then that spreads to the leaves. And some of the leaves, in quite dramatic cases, I mean, they almost look like they've been burned, and it spreads throughout the canopy, throughout the crown of the tree, so it's really dramatic.
And it very much is about finding out where it's spread to, so people at home can help.
They really can, because if we just leave it to the scientists, there are not enough of them to see every, you know, ash tree. There's an awful lot of ash trees, 80 million. So there are things like phone apps where you can actually take a picture of what you think is a diseased tree and send it through to people who are monitoring this. You know, be vigilant and just keep an eye on, you know, trees in your area. And the other thing really to do is to practice what we would call, you know, really good etiquette. If you go for a walk in the woods, don't take any material, no plants, no saplings with you, because the spores travel. And just things like, you're really supposed to change your boots when you've been walking in the woods, when you get back into the car, because this is how these diseases can spread. So that's really important.
I mean, we're just saying there in the film, Neil, just how important trees are for you back in Colorado, yes. Ranch.
I've got a small ranch, and we have these kind of diseases go through the pine trees. We've had a problem with that in Colorado, and so I know how careful you have to be and how heartbreaking it is to lose trees.
So
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. It's
Yeah.
it's a, you know, people feel very, very strongly about it.
Yes.
It's so part of our landscape.
Exactly. And after the show tonight, Lucy, you're bumming off because you're going to start creating a new woodland tomorrow for us, aren't you? on the-
Yes,
on
we're
the
going to
show?
be up in Wrexham tomorrow planting trees, because it is all about diversity of trees, and we need to keep planting them so that we don't have all our eggs in one basket.
Lucy to the rescue.
There you are. Yes, thank you, Lucy. Yeah, and you can find details on how to spot and log ash dieback on our website, bbc.co.uk/The One Show.
Yes. Now, One Show viewers, are you ready to be rocked?
Oh, yeah, we've got a big yes from the fans over there. OK, well, from living rooms to stadiums across the world, the Marshall amp has been the essential kit for any aspiring rock god. And Matt Allwright. Yeah, very good.
What a coincidence.
There we are. Now, Neil, what does the sight of a Marshall amp do to you?
It puts fear into me because the power and the volume that you can generate from a Marshall amp is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And if you're playing a large venue or an arena or a festival, you want that, but you have to be very careful with it.
Where you stand. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes,
right.
Okay. Well, you have been recording for over 5 decades. How did you decide what songs to put on Very Best of Neil Diamond?
Well, I was lucky enough with this album to convince the 4 different labels that they were recorded for to put all the original versions, the studio versions, on the album. Up till now, they each kept them and put them out on their own albums. But so these are the original studio albums, cuts that go way back. There are 23 songs on it, and for me, it's a voyage down memory lane.
I bet it is, yeah.
Play the recording, and it just takes me right back to the time that I was recording it. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Was it quite difficult to know in which order to put the songs? Is that important?
Well, it was, and I tried to put them in chronological order. In some cases, I got it right. In some cases, I made some little changes just so that they worked a little better in the sequencing. But sequencing is very important.
Yeah. And of course, you're always appealing to newer audiences as you go. We've got a brilliant moment here from Glastonbury in 2008.
Oh yeah,
what
really?
a sight this is!
Really.
All right, we're coming up to the last chorus now. I'm gonna need everybody to sing with me. Are you gonna help me out or what? Here we go. Sweet.
Oh, there you go. You can't stop swaying. You just can't stop. Even Neil was swaying.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I've never seen that before. That's,
Have you not?
That's
It's good,
pretty
isn't it?
impressive.
I mean, and you attracted a whole new generation of fans at that concert.
Oh, well, that too, but just singing in front of an
Yeah.
audience like that and having them all having a good time, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, one of the tracks that's on the album is, of course, I'm a Believer, but originally it was a hit for the Monkees when you first wrote it.
That's right.
And that had a real impact on your career, didn't it?
It did, because it was a... yeah, there they are.
They sing it well, to be fair, but your
Oh,
version
they did a
is...
beautiful version of it,
Yeah,
and it was... Their record was a hit worldwide, and it helped me get my name known worldwide, too. I had a song called Cherry Cherry, which was a big hit, and following Cherry Cherry, the Monkees came out with I'm a Believer, and that sealed the deal. People knew who I was. It was really the beginning of my career.
Yeah, and even before that, I mean, you were singing in the high school chorus with, incredibly, Barbara Streisand. So the pair of you, the pair of you were in the chorus. Who on earth was singing the lead?
There were no leads.
I was going to say.
I'm sure Barbara would have taken the lead. But those were fun times. I didn't know Barbara. There were 100 voices in the choir. She was 15 years old. I was 16. And we reminisce about it years later because the conductor of the chorus was a very aristocratic Italian man, and all of the women, all of the girls in the chorus were in love with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of the boys in the chorus were in horrible fear of him, because if you sang a wrong note or you didn't come in beautifully, you would be scalped. So we both remember Mr. Di Pietro.
Yeah. And the pair of you are on the album as well. So
You are.
You don't bring me flowers.
And Matt
Yes,
didn't bring
yes.
me any either today either. Anyway, the very best of Neil Diamond, the original recordings, is out on the 26th of November.
Yeah, it was announced today that the government are going to force energy companies into offering just
Lights off for...
And I'm now here in the studio with the Griffiths and the Rutherfords, both horrified to see their houses on television. But Nate, are you still competing then with the electric bill competition?
Not now, no.
No.
I think we've just got some good habits going, and hopefully we'll keep on saving money.
OK, so what kind of things are you continuing with then, and what have you kind of let slip?
Pretty much everything that we started doing that week. It's just a little less frantic. I don't get quite as stressed if the landing lights are still
or
on.
if you leave your
or-
bedroom light on.
Yes.
Mum doesn't. OK, good. All right then. And Fiona, how about you? Is it hard not to use the dishwasher?
It is quite difficult, but I'm doing my best. I am trying to wash up by hand where I can. Switch off the lights whenever possible. And what we've done is take out a lot of light bulbs. We've got a lot of light fittings that have 3 or 4 bulbs in.
All right.
And because we moved into a house that needed renovating.
Yeah.
And I think that's made an enormous difference, because we only need 1 bulb really to light a room.
Yeah, and I bet you notice a big difference on the street, do you? Looking at, with your 2 houses and everybody else's.
That's right. If you walk down the road, our 2 houses are the darkest by far. Everyone else has the lights blazing.
Yeah, sure.
And we look quite dark, but we're just using the lights in the room that we're in.
Have you had the conversation yet about Christmas lights?
Oh, no, that's a good point.
What are you going to do with that?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
Every
yet?
other light, maybe, or I
Right,
don't know.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And O'Shane, are you still having these 4-minute showers?
Yes.
Are they going all right?
Yes.
Do you know, Alex was horrified at the thought of a 4-minute shower earlier on. Neil, how long do you spend in the shower?
Hours.
Well, I tell you, I don't think you'll be welcome around these houses.
But
Anyway, right, that's it. Thank you both ever so much, all of you, for coming in. It's great to see you.
Yeah, and as Neil pointed out to you, Neil, I mean, saving energy is brilliant, but don't turn this show off right now. Now, if the word supersized makes you think of huge burgers, well, a new BBC series is asking you to think again. Have a look at this.
Now I'd look down.
And Dallas is with us now. Welcome, Dallas.
Thank you very much for having me. Nice to see you.
Now, as well as
Absolutely.
proving, of course, that you've got a quite good head for height on that series, what else can we learn there?
Well, not that good a head for height, actually. That was one of the most terrifying things I've
You're
ever
quite convincing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a snapshot of the modern world, this series. I mean, the way that human beings live on this planet has just changed radically in our lifetime. So the way we now build faster, we build higher, we've shrunk the world with the way we build our transport networks. And so this show is really, we've been all around the world looking at the scale and the ambition of some of the engineering projects that's actually facilitated this change. And, you see from that clip that in telling this story, I've been involved in some pretty hair-raising adventures as well.
Including, I mean, your search for the tallest building starts at Lincoln Cathedral.
Well, this is the thing. Who knew? The tallest building in the world used to be Lincoln Cathedral for 4,000 years.
It's a great building,
It's absolutely fantastic. But for 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid in Giza in Egypt was the world's tallest building until Lincoln Cathedral came along in the Middle Ages. But of course, I wonder if they ever knew that it was the tallest building. It used to actually have a big spire on top, which made it the tallest building. So that spire's now gone.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder about the guy who originally was on the top of the spire and was putting a little twiddly bit on top. Weather vane thought, I've just built the tallest building in the world. He probably didn't. Yeah.
Well, building techniques have sped up a bit since Lincoln Cathedral. We have a clip of you in China. Here you are. Now, tell us exactly what's happening here.
So this is incredible. So we hear a lot about China and about the progress that goes on in China, but these guys can build a fully functioning skyscraper, 15 stories or so, earthquake-proof, got your plumbing, got your internet in 2 weeks. I mean, they can knock that up in 2 weeks. If you've had your builders in at home, taken a little bit too long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, New York as well, Neil. I mean, do you have a favourite
Well,
skyscraper?
the Empire State Building took 11 months to build.
Yeah.
And but I'm impressed that they can build a building like that in 2 weeks. It takes more time than that to get Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
much less put a building up.
Yeah. We filmed a lot in New York, and it's funny actually because my first experience with big buildings was going to New York when I was a teenager, and you'd think of New York as the home of skyscrapers in Chicago, but no, we're all looking towards the east. We're all looking to China. We're looking to the Middle East.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Dallas. Nice
Such
to
a
see
pleasure.
you.
Tomorrow.
And Supersized Earth starts tomorrow night on BBC One at 8 o'clock.
Yes, and thanks, of course, to Neil and his album The Very Best of Neil Diamond is out on November the 26th.
Yes.
Thank you.
And on Friday's show, we'll be talking to 4 more legendary musicians, the Rolling Stones. We want to hear your stories about you and the Stones. Do you have a link with the band, maybe? Does their music mean something specific to you? Or do you just want to ask a question? Email your questions at the usual address.
Tomorrow, Sandy Toksvig and Omid Jalili will be here. We'll see you then. Thanks for reminding me to pick the wife some flowers up on the way there. Cheers.